Hey guys, so back with another video. This time I'm gonna do a review of, guess what? Crown Jewel 2022. Yeah, this came out like on Boxing Day, and the event happened in early November, and got a request from Dan on Facebook to do a review of it. So here we are. So let's get this underway, shall we? We kicked off the show with the Destroyer, the almighty Bobby Lashley, taking on the Beast, Brock Lesnar. This was a fun opener, fun 5-minute opener. They left a lot on the table for a rematch potentially down the line. It was a finisher fest. It was it was a typical Brock Lesnar match. Suplex, 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 F5. Spears from Lashley. Then Brock was able to survive with after. Lashley got in the full Nelson, and Lashley did Brock Lesnar did the Bret Hart, Stone Cold thing, going up the ropes and and rolling through into a pinfall. It was very creative victory. We've seen it before, but it was I still like the finish, and it also sets up a rematch for later down the line, which I don't mind seeing between these two big beasts. So yeah, big thumbs up for that one. And then of course Lashley beat him up afterwards, kind of suggesting that a third match between the two, because we had one at the Rumble and then we had this one at Crown Jewel. So let's do another one, maybe sometime between now and WrestleMania. Would be nice. Anyway, next match. We had Damage Control of Io Sky and Dakota Kai taking on Alexa Bliss and Asuka for the tag team titles. The women's tag team titles, that is. Alexa and Asuka had just won them 6 days before on Raw, so this was the rematch on pay-per-view. It was fine. It was an okay match. What I've wrote down in my notes is basically that before the match, Alexa had a promo, and she was interrupted by the Wyatt logo. Bray Wyatt's new logo flashed up on the screen, and it was kind of like the first tease of the Bray Wyatt Alexa Bliss reunion, if you want to call it that, or whatever Alexa's doing right now with Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt stuff. That was fine. That was pretty good. I like the intrigue there. The match itself, pretty cool stuff. I like I like the exchange between Asuka and Io Sky. Pretty cool stuff. They had. I would love to see that like a one-on-one match between those two one day. And and then the finish I kind of felt was a bit pointless. It was a pointless title change, as Dakota Kai and Io would regain the tag team titles and put the titles back on them. I feel like it was just done so that they could brag about how they won the tag titles in Saudi Arabia. The first women's tag titles to change hands in Saudi Arabia. So it was a good match, but a pointless title change. Like I don't think it really needed to have a title change 6 days before just to lose them back to Dakota and Io. It was what it was. Then the next match we had Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross in a steel cage match. This was fun. I like this match. Good match. I know a lot of people didn't like the Karrion Kross Drew McIntyre feud. I was a bit unsure about it. I was kind of like, okay, a bit iffy about it at times. But now that I've actually watched the match in its entirety, I thought it was a really good match. I like the finish. Really good match. It was a good match, but it had a really really silly finish, but I thought it was hilarious. So Drew McIntyre goes to escape the cage, and Scarlett shuts the door and locks the door and gets the key. So she's like, I got the key. Woohoo, I got the key. Look at me. And then, so Drew just looks up at the cage like, I can escape. And Scarlett's like, oh shit. And then Drew McIntyre basically escapes, and Scarlett has to re-undo the door so Karrion Kross can fall through the door. But and Drew was able to escape the cage. It was a fun cage match. I liked the cage and the cage match, and the ending was a bit silly, and I thought it was hilarious with Drew, but Drew got the win, so that ends the feud between those two. Pretty cool. Then we had the Judgment Day of Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest taking on AJ Styles and the OC of Gallows and Anderson. This was another fun match. I really liked this match. Michael Cole's commentary on Dominic was hilarious, calling him a punk kid, and reckons that someone needs to teach him some manners and all that stuff. That was pretty funny. And yeah, AJ Styles was in there, and Finn Balor was really good, and Rhea Ripley was the usual factor in the finish of the Judgment Day. The numbers game got the better of the OC on this night, and the Rhea Ripley would interfere, causing AJ Styles to lose. But a really solid match. I really like this match. Really good stuff. So the Judgment Day got the win on that one. Then we had this big one right here. See if you can handle this one. We had Omos versus Braun Strowman. This was okay. I was actually expecting it to be a lot worse. But yeah, they did a lot of stuff. I actually felt sorry for Braun at parts because I'm not used to seeing Braun Strowman as the smaller competitor. So him getting tossed around by a bigger competitor kind of made me feel a bit sad for the Monster Among Men. And I was like, oh, I wanted to give him a cuddle. And then he'd throw me. But yeah, and just as I was thinking that, Braun got the better of him and ended up winning the match. It all led to the big giant spot of Braun Strowman picking up Omos and slamming him for the big pinfall, but which was okay. I like that match. Pretty good stuff. Fine stuff, and Braun gets the win. Always good to see Braun Strowman. For me, anyway, one of my favorites. Next match, we had the Usos defending the tag team titles against Butch and Rich Holland of the Brawling Brutes. This was a bit predictable. Going into it, the Usos were about, I think it was a week away from breaking the New Day's longest reigning tag team title reign. So we kind of knew what the result was going to be here. But, it's still a really good match. I had Butch and the Usos in there, and of course Rich. No offense to Rich Holland, but it was still a good match, really good stuff, and Usos got the win. You can always bet on a good Usos match, even if no matter who they're in there against, you can always count on a good Usos match. So, and this was no different. I like this match. Then we had the next match. We had Bianca Belair defending the Raw Women's Championship in a last woman standing match against Bayley. This was fine. Not as good as I was hoping it would be. There was some fun spots in the match, like the golf cart and the ladder spot at the end where Bayley got trapped under the ladder and she couldn't get out. I like that kind of spot. Very unique circumstances. But I didn't feel like the crowd took away from this match. Which, by the way, one thing I will say about it, considering this is the first Saudi event that I've actually reviewed since. If I'm not mistaken, the last Saudi event where I reviewed was the Goldberg Fiend one. And the crowd was horrible for that event. No wonder. It was a crappy event. But this crowd on this night was very electrified. It felt like a normal crowd. They were very on fire for a lot of the stuff. Well, in this match, I don't feel like they were on fire for a lot of this match. And it really took away. It was some solid stuff in it, but I think the crowd took away, for my enjoyment anyway. And Bianca won, and it was it was a good finish. So I like the golf cart spots, no matter if it was slow or whatever. I'm not expecting Bayley to actually run over Bianca with the golf cart, but it was fine. It was what it was. Then we had a Bray Wyatt promo. Bray Wyatt came out and he cut a promo on. Basically, it felt like he was going to an AA meeting, admitting his sins and all that stuff, and talking about the guy, how he became the monster and the fiend, and all that stuff. And some really, I could listen to this guy for hours. Sometimes, it is gibberish. Sometimes, it is a lot of what's the word? I can't think of the fucking word. I can't think of the word. Speaks in tongues, cryptic. That's the word. He's very cryptic sometimes with his words, and but I can listen to this guy for hours. And when I was watching his entrance, and I just sat there and just took it all in, and oh man, I've missed him so much. So glad he's back, man. It's been a year. It's been over a year. I know I haven't really talked about it too much because I don't want to make this me praising Bray Wyatt. thing, even though he's my favorite wrestler. But I really did miss him, and I love having him around, and I'm glad he's back. And this was no different. The promo was great, and I really had a fun time just listening to him talk. Just listening to him talk. Like, my only criticism, if I was going to give some criticism, like a little bit of a nitpick, was I don't really understand why they had to travel all the way to Saudi Arabia to do this promo when it could have been on SmackDown. But I'm not complaining because I got to see Bray Wyatt, so the big thumbs up to me. And then, of course, are you ready for this one? I'm not, because I have a feeling I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one. We have Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. Actually, I just realized, fuck this. Fuck it. I don't care. It's my opinion at the end of the day. I fucking realize, what am I so worried about? It's my opinion at the end of the day. I'm sorry, but it's my opinion. If I don't, if I like something, if I don't like something, that's fine. We're fine. As long as we don't, as long as I respect other people's opinions, or they respect my opinions, then we're fine. As long as we don't insult each other, that's fine. So, let's get this match, shall we? Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul for the Universal Undisputed Championship. I so wanted to be wrong on this one. I watched this back in November, and I remember hating it and wondering why everyone was so, calling it the match of the year and everything. I didn't understand it, and I was hoping to be wrong. And I watched it, and unfortunately, I still feel the same way. I'm not, all the praise I'll give Logan Paul is he did all the moves right. That's all I can say. I'm not gonna sit here and kiss his ass or suck his dick and say, oh my god, it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, because it's yeah, he had a so-so match with Roman Reigns. He had an alright match with Roman Reigns. Okay, I'll be fair. He had an alright match with Roman Reigns. But I don't believe it. For me personally, it's not for me. I get it was an attraction match. It looks good on the cover of a DVD or a poster. It's a big name attraction. But for me, it didn't do anything for me. I think it made the people who Roman's beaten in the past look very bad, like Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar and people like that, and Riddle, and all the people who Roman has beaten in his long 2.5 year title reign at this point. I think it made them look bad, because this guy who's only had 3 matches could take the Universal Champion to the limit. Again, just my opinion. I just didn't like this match. And I didn't care about his mates getting involved. The fact that he got injured doing a frog splash through the table while recording himself doing a frog splash through the table served him right. I got no sympathy for him. Yeah. So I'm gonna. I'm expecting a lot of heat for this one if people actually see this. But yeah. I didn't care about this match whatsoever. I felt like it dragged on way too long. I feel like it should have been at least cut half of it off. I don't think it needed the Jake Paul interference. It didn't need the Solo Sikoa and Usos interference at the end. It could have been just 10 minutes of Logan Paul and Roman Reigns going back and forth, and Roman beats him. That's all it needed to be. It's an attraction match. Who gives a shit? And unfortunately, this match really ruined my enjoyment of this pay-per-view. I know that's going to sound a little bit of very salty and like the old man yelling at the clouds, but I don't really give a shit at this point. That's my opinion. I just didn't like this match, and I'm glad it's over, and I'm glad I don't have to watch it again. I wish I could erase it from my memory. That's how bad it was for me. Anyway. That's going to be it now. I was going to give this event a 9 out of 10 because I was really enjoying it up to the main event. But then I watched the main event. I was hoping to be wrong, and I wasn't. I was hoping to be proven. I was hoping to have a different opinion coming out of it, like some other matches. But I didn't, and it is what it is. So I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. I marked it down to 7 out of 10 because I thought that main event really put me in a bad mood, and that's not what I want at the end of the day when it comes to a pay-per-view. I don't want to have 99% of the events be happy, and then the last 1% put me in a bad mood. So, yep, I'm going to give this event a 7 out of 10. Hope you liked it. Give me a like if I deserve it. I probably won't after crapping on Logan Paul. But there you go. Anyway, that's going to be it now, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye for now.